Hello everyone, I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you can too. Today is going to be all about YouTube analytics. I've been seeing a lot of things when it comes to YouTube analytics, and there's a good amount of confusion. So I want to see if I can help clear up the air on that. You may see in the live stream chat, I am on my gaming channel, depending where the chat is. And the reason I'm going to be on the gaming channel is because it is a channel that is considered a little bit more oversaturated than my personal channel, and it has a lot more analytical data I can share with you. That being said, there will probably be little to no channel reviews tonight, depending on how much I go into analytics. Analytics is a pretty heavy subject, so moderators, if you see people asking for channel reviews, please give that heads up for me. I see Beanie in the chat, I see 30-day reviews, I see Honor Vlog, and I see your Real Estate Whisperer. I'm excited to go more of a deep dive into the analytics. I want to make sure I am within YouTube's rules, so I may have to cover some things only to be following the rules and terms that are set up by YouTube. That being said, that is something you gotta deal with on this platform. I want to make sure that I'm looking at you, my viewers, and not the side screen on my monitor. So that's what I was changing there. As I pull up analytics, I wanted to know, how is everyone doing and what is your knowledge base on analytics? I'm kind of curious to see what people already know about it, because while I do know a lot, I'm not sure how much people know in general. So, all right, time to cover the stuff YouTube will get mad at me for. Now, keep in mind, because I'm looking at my gaming channel, I do not have as much time to dedicate to it as I do my personal channels. I will be doing my best to show you good information, but the reason I chose this channel is because it's in a good niche that most people consider oversaturated. So I see that the oversaturated argument comes up a lot, and it's not so much that the niche is oversaturated as what are you doing that is continuing to keep people on to the channel. That's the number one thing I kind of see. But I see Mary's DIY, I see Modern Day Tech, I see G. Michael Jr. We have a pretty good amount of people in the chat already. So we are going to be using the new YouTube Studio, just as another heads up. So right off the bat here, we are on the gaming channel, so you should notice this in the kind of YouTube Studio, the new one. And keep in mind, it is a beta, so if you're watching this in the future and anything has changed, I apologize, but I am going with what I have now. So as we kind of scroll around and look around, where we're going to be focusing on is our analytics tab. So we're going to be going right here. I'm going to transition back because I want to keep within YouTube's rules. So we're going to that analytics tab I just showed, seeing a few people. Darn, making me choose between Dan and Andrew, LOL. So I'm not sure, is Creator Fundamentals live right now? I'm not too positive. I just went live today because it's kind of when I decided to go live. I'm trying to figure out the best date, but man, everyone streams at the same time. So it's one of those, trying to find your own unique niche is always hard when it comes to streaming. But we're going to be going into this analytical breakdown because I want to make sure that more people at least have the replay to look at if they're unsure, because it is one of those things where I can understand how it's confusing. There's a lot of information, and I want to make sure that we get it out there. So with this, the first thing I want to show, and actually I think I have a pretty good solution to this. If I can kind of go in between. So there we are. So I'm going to have to go between this because there's not much I can do in the intermediate. But don't worry, we're going to pull up the YouTube analytics right now. So as we look here, you're going to notice that my watch time, my views, my subscribers, it's all kind of down. But if we actually look at the trajectory of my graph and when I upload, that's going to pretty much mirror that. So you'll notice this right off the bat. You can see your watch time, you can see your views, you can see how many subscribers you've gotten, and you can see your estimated revenue. But for purposes of YouTube, I want to make sure that I am keeping all clear in what they're asking of me. So as we transition back for a little bit, and you get to see my face as we go down and hide that information, I want to make sure that we kind of see. So the first thing right off the bat that's probably the most important for YouTubers to see is that you're going to see your watch time in minutes in the last 28 days. And why this is important is because this is the content over the last 28-day period. And if you want to change that to different verticals, you can do it here. Usually what I try to do is have it by the month of. So since it's February, I'll have it here. But because of not too sure how it will refresh. All right, I made the right choice. Because of that, you can see different changes here, but I usually try to keep it the month of just so you can have a better idea. So as we'll see here, top month top videos of the month of February are for this channel, Far Cry 1 and Portal 2. They kind of dominate. So what this shows me is that it is going to be a decent idea to consider that this type of content is the content that I have on my channel currently that is performing. And that's something that not a lot of people take in consideration when it comes time to what they should make, or if they're not sure what their audience wants. Another thing you're going to see here is your latest activity within the last 48 hours. So for my gaming channel, I have about a 48-hour view duration of about 1,087, not view duration, but like a view accumulacy of about 1,000. That's a pretty normal thing for me when I upload a new video. This can go all the way up to 2,000. But this is just kind of where we're at currently as we close here and scroll down. Another thing it's going to show you, and usually this ends up kind of mimicking each other. So G. Michael Jr., it is within the rules of YouTube that you are not to disclose that publicly. So this would count as a public platform. Sharing a video of it would be that. So know your rules so you don't get in trouble. Some channels have gotten community strikes. You don't want to break the rules if you know what they are. So that's kind of why, if you're wondering, saw that question, wanted to give you an answer as we go back. So usually this is going to show us which videos are doing well. And I like this graph because people often ask me, what is the best time to publish? And what I usually try to find is, when do I upload my videos? What's that view graph? And if you aren't uploading for a while, this is kind of gives you a good idea. Now, this is based on usually search, and more what I'll see, because I'm based in California, is that between 10 to about, I'll say, let's use this as the last peak. From 10 to 10 is my 12-hour window where I notice that people in my time zone, at least based on what YouTube is telling me, this is a decent time for me to publish, because this is kind of when I get the most traction. And I'm seeing that with the graph. So like if I publish, usually when I publish is actually at the 6 a.m. mark. And what we'll see is we can kind of see that when people come to my channel, it's around that time. And then we see it kind of fall off naturally again until we get back to where we are. So that's something to consider and think about, because what a lot of people don't realize, and as you can see, you're getting views in real time. I'm up to 6. Like, this is real time. If I go to 60 minutes, we'll see an even better breakdown, and this is going to change. So this is like within the last 60 minutes, within the last hour, it's showing me where my views are coming from. And these are real people that are actively watching what you're doing at this time. 30-day review says, glad you're doing this. May help me better understand. Mary's DIY, it is literally here. These are people actively watching as I'm here. One new person started watching, updating live. Like, this is who's watching and this is what they're watching, right? So if you want to know it on the 48-hour one, well, that's when this kind of comes more into play. And you can click on this, and I'll click on it, and be careful. Back over here. Okay, so it doesn't do anything. But essentially, you see these views here. So if you... Obviously, there are more videos than this, but these are the top. Like, these are the ones in the last 48 hours that have been doing actual, like, high amounts of views to where YouTube finds it important enough to show me. And if you guys would be interested in seeing my personal channel as well, kind of the analytics on that, let me know in the chat, because I don't mind showing what I can. So as I go back to that 60 minutes, we're seeing this view count in real time within the last 60 minutes. So I know for a fact 2 people right now are on Can Play Portal 2, Story Mode Blind number 5, Return 2 out of 2, and we can see that these are probably people in a playlist, right? So these are people that are coming in, checking out my content, and I can kind of see with the views here what content they're watching, at least in the most up-to-date. So right now, I want you to like contemplate this. As we are discussing, there are 18 people watching my gaming channel, and within the last 48 hours alone, 1,048 unique views. Like, I don't think you can fathom how many people 1,000 is. If 1,000 people came up to you on the street and watched you, you would be terrified. Like, that is a lot of people. So keep that in consideration, because I don't think people understand the numbers. Like, even 18 people, even the people watching live now, that's a small classroom. So keep that in mind. People are using you to learn, educate, whatever they're using you for. They are taking time, their most valuable resource, and giving it to you. So that's something to keep into consideration. So while I am here, I want to kind of break it down a little bit more. And if I click reach viewers, hopefully I'm going to transition back to not break policy. Yay! Sorry, folks. It's just YouTube is interesting. 30-day review says last 48 hours I'm about 15-20. Been constant about that for the last few months. That's really good, 30-day reviews. As I said before, when I upload content, that number usually jumps and then it kind of maintains that. On my gaming channel, unfortunately, I have to balance it with my personal channel and TubeBuddy, so it's always finding those right balances. But I'm going to transition back. So right here, this is going to be for the month of February. Here's some interesting numbers. Wow, Beanie, you got demonetized. Well, I did worry about that. So right here, what we'll see, and what I like about this, is understanding the data here. People say that the beta is a little confusing, and if you don't know how to read analytics proper, it can be. But here's what you need to remember, right? Here, down here, it shows you the uploads. So you can kind of see how the views perform, right? So here was the finale of this series, and when some of my audience got it, they kind of dipped. But here was the announcement of another series, and well, once my audience saw it, and they saw, you know, more Far Cry, which is primarily the content, I can kind of see what my audience graph did. For the people that were loving that series when it ended, when it came time for this new series, they didn't come in strodes as they did for the other series, right? Like, let's look at this. This is when I was uploading the Crisis series, Crisis, the ending of the series, new series. So we hit a low. But for the people who loved the Far Cry series, boom, activity again. Then we see the people who were liking the Fallout series. Yeah, we see the dip, but when we come over here, we get the Far Cry series back. We see it again. So that's something to consider. Hello Minnie is asking, how do I rank for a competitive keyword when I'm starting my channel? It's a topic the channel will be about. I have TubeBuddy. Hello Minnie, do research. It's the best advice I can give you. Do research on that and try to avoid super competitive areas. As we continue going through, part of the reason I'm able to rank for some of the things like Far Cry, some of these older games, is because while a lot of popular YouTubers have played these games, they didn't tackle them the way I did. I did them blind. They played them with knowledge, so that's just already a distinction. Blind playthroughs are not going to have as many views necessarily. It's kind of a sub niche, and then people just fell in love with the retro gaming, and I started with the first game all the way to the more modern one. So I had a catalog of content. If you're a new channel, don't focus so much on ranking for super competitive. Focus on getting your catalog of content established, because the truth is, if you don't have that content catalog, how is YouTube going to suggest you? But if you're a brand new channel, focus on super searchable content. That's the best advice I can give you. So as we transition back, we'll see here that my click-through rate on this channel is about 5%. I get asked a lot, what is a good click-through rate? If we click here, there usually is around here, which is the fun little text that YouTube provides. You can hit the learn more, help. And what this is going to show you is that if you, half of all channels on YouTube have an impression CTR that can range between 2 and 10%. So 2 and 10% is the average. I'm at 5%. I'm smack dab in the middle of average. So keeping that in mind, what we'll notice as well is like what causes my audience to click. We can kind of see this click-through rate data in real time. And the reason is because I clicked on impression click-through. So if I want to see how many impressions I get, this is what it is. If I want to see this, but if you want to see your views, this is really where you can dive in. Now, one thing I don't see enough people focusing on is this category. And this is unique viewers. And unique viewers is something that you really should consider, right? Because 3.3 thousand, right? I want you to keep in that. Estimated number of people that watch your content within the selected date range. Unique viewers means unique to your content. So that means that of the 15,000 views I got, that of the unique ones, and of course this can change, YouTube may have changed it in the time of the stream. The one thing that's hard about teaching YouTube is that they can change these meanings. Keyword is the beta, but overall, key fact here is that unique viewers usually relates to unique to your channel. I've had 3.3 thousand new unique people to my channel, right? What that means for you is that gives you how many opportunities you had for people to subscribe to your channel. 3.3 thousand, whatever your unique viewer total is. Of course, sometimes it can change. It can be on new devices. There's a lot of technical stuff, but as a very base, that is something to consider. Now, if you want to know like how successful you are in like your subscriber conversion, we can show you that in YouTube analytics because that number exists. That's how they're pulling these data points. I'm telling you this so as a viewer, you can better kind of understand this as you go in and use your information wisely, because a lot of people don't know what to do with this data, right? So let's go back to the screen. I've had 150,000 impressions, right? 5.4% click-through rate and 15,000 views. So if we really want to get to it, right? 150,000, 5%, I have 15,000 views. Based on impressions, I actually have about a 10%, though impressions click-through rate is 5.4. So this goes into like your audience retention, things like that. But overall, this is how many unique new people came to the channel. And we also see what brought them here, right? Like I had more unique new people come with the Fallout video. So if we look at the unique viewers thing, well, when I started doing Fallout, I actually hit a kind of peak with unique viewers. But as I went back to doing my Far Cry stuff, it's kind of mellowed out, right? So it's understanding what this means. Now, also understand the smaller your channel, usually your unique viewers is going to be low because everyone is usually a unique viewer. So there is some leeway there. And of course, YouTube will never kind of reveal what they consider a unique viewer, but a general rule of thumb is what we're going on here. As we transition back. And I'm not sure if you saw it here, but you can see my unique viewer stream. You can see that I'm up to 214 here. You can see the fall. This is also corresponding with the content, right? Created Fallout 2. And then the first 48 hours is what I usually track, right? New video, YouTube is tracking, as we saw in the overview, 48-hour performance. So I usually go, if I know I released this on the 5th and that at the 7th I had 190, well, then when I released a piece of content, which is Far Cry 3, which is what a lot of people, as we learned here, people came for my Far Cry content. We learned that this engages my subscribers. And so because it does that, I've hit my peak because we did something new that YouTube was trying to find a new audience for. And I did something my audience reacts to, which caused me to rise. 30-day review, still kind of confused what a unique viewer is. A unique viewer, in the most basic term, is someone unique to your content. That could be a lot of factors. Again, YouTube is not giving us specifics or giving us vagalities, but we can see through the data. Think of a unique viewer is a new person to your content that you have the opportunity to convert to a subscriber. That's how YouTube is going to look at it, right? So if you have had, looking at your numbers, right? If you know how many unique viewers you have, Beanie says, I get 28K unique views and 72K views. Not sure if that's good or horrible. That's pretty decent. Think of it this way, Beanie. 28,000 potential new people. You see, the thing is, when it comes to a good ratio, is that you're asking for good ratios. That's what I'm asking for in this beta studio. This is stuff we need to write. Give me the ratio. So also, you can always use the help here, right? So maybe they've updated it. At the time when I did this, and I'll switch back. When the time I was searching for it, I want to see, oh, unique viewer data, right? Here we go. You can use unique viewer data to see unique viewers and get a clear picture of your audience side, or the estimated number of different people who came to watch your videos over a given time period, whether they watch. This is all new to me. Note that these metrics are meant to give you a general sense of your audience and reach, and make sure you review your other channel and video metrics. So right here, right? These are meant to give you a general sense of your audience and reach. So this is pretty much in my 15.3K views, right? Of those 15.3K views, 3.3 thousand were unique. So it's showing us how to use data, how to use this data, right? This is what we want to look at. You can use the average view duration metric to understand more details about your viewers. How many views correspond from your unique viewer on average from your channel? This can be different from videos. So that's something, right? This data is also new. And again, this is stuff that they're just recently adding, because like this is stuff I've been wondering. How can I use this data? Some of the ways that you can use about unique viewers, right? See how much on average a unique viewer has watched on your channel by looking at the average views per viewer metric. This tells you how much each person is. Compare your audience size to your subscriber base and identify videos that help you tap into a wider audience. So again, this is kind of confirming what I thought. Use this information to guide your content strategy and show brands. Guys, we have enough data to know what I thought was true. Okay, folks. So, all right, Austin Lee, I don't understand why, but goodbye. Anyway, we have enough data now. Unique viewers are basically the potential of reach, so they are new users to your channel. So that is something to consider when it comes to this. So, unique viewers are people that are unique to your channel, meaning that these are newer people that have been served your content. So, your views represents your current, that you're supposed to use your view based on your subscription amount. So, for me on this channel, I have about 2,800 subscribers. I've gotten 15.3 thousand views, right? Of the unique ones, the thing that is to be kept in mind is that those 3.3 thousand unique views, let's transition back. Out of my 15.3 thousand views, 3.3 thousand of those views were to unique people to this channel, unique to my content, meaning that this is what my reach is to newer people. This is my kind of core, and this is what I'm hitting in my unique reach. So that is something to keep in mind. So with that, knowing my unique reach, right? This is kind of when we can kind of break it down in higher levels, right? So here on this channel, a lot of people are always surprised by this. And this is why I preach playlist. One of my best viewer kind of reach is my playlist, because I have optimized my playlist to be so searchable that when you search for the games I am playing, it is a series playlist that shows up, and I get so many people watching my catalog, and as we saw, kind of reflected into my real-time viewer amount. You can see that. Moderators, no shout outs, please, just as a heads up. As you can kind of see in the data here, is that I'm getting people in my content, and then in those playlists, they're watching in succession. So my view duration rises higher and higher. So as we transition back, we see here that playlist pages are really high. But then if you look at it, YouTube search and suggested are lower. But ironically, one thing I've always wondered, I know that a lot of my viewers are coming into my playlist by search. So I've always found it interesting that YouTube kind of keeps these two separate. But what I'm thinking, and this is what I've always kind of concurred here, is that they find me through search, they start a playlist, and they come back to my playlist. And then if you look at my data, right, they find my playlist, they go into my playlist. Then when they continue the playlist, I get 14.2% view. So that is something to keep in mind. Then as we continue to go, I then get a decent amount of suggested, and then we kind of end back on the search. Browse features, they keep a little vague, but overall the way I think about that is like anytime they're browsing on YouTube, be it the homepage, it's kind of separate from search. So this could be like your subscription feed, your homepage feed. This is usually what browse feature tends to mean. And again, these are my top traffic sources. We're going to kind of dive deeper into all of these, but this is just an idea. That is something to keep in mind. So your real estate whisperer says the data makes my head spin. My counter question is why? What about the data is confusing to you? Because knowing that can help me better explain it to you. Because to me, it's actually pretty clear. And I'll go back to show why I mean. If I transition here, I know that most of my video views are coming in through my playlist, which I know are super searchable. So if I know that most people are coming in my channel through playlist, because I've optimized these playlists so heavily, then it makes a lot of sense. But then my next source is playlist page, meaning that they probably can't watch all of my content in one go. So that is something to keep in mind. When it comes to this, that is something I want to kind of show. It funnels through to here. And as you see, YouTube kind of is showing us this funnel. And that is something that is very obvious here. So impressions, click-through rate, views from impressions, average view duration, watch time from impressions in minutes. Because again, YouTube cares the most about at the top of the pyramid is watch time. So as I look here, what I'm seeing is that what I'm doing as my strategy. Goodbye, GamerPat. Happy to have you here. And I see Austin Lee asks, I am getting soundproof. What should I use? I use Command Strip for posters. They work pretty well for me. Now, here's something to keep in mind, right? As we click on the See More, and as I transition back, just want to make sure. Okay, nothing too compromisable is being shown. As I transition back, right, I can see that when it comes time to how many views I'm getting, right, I get 5,000 views on my playlist. So this is 39.1% of my total 100% view thing here. So when I go here, I see that the playlist page is 17.3% of my viewership. So those numbers I were giving you earlier, as I break it down more and more, we see from my total views, which is 15,291, 5,977 come from playlist, 2,648 come from my playlist page. Suggested videos is actually pretty good with search here. So you can kind of see how they break this down here. And then browse feature, which is that home page, how many people are kind of coming through. We can see how many people come from external. We can see notifications. This usually means like that notification bell. So 45 views from the notification bell, which is pretty cool. Other YouTube features, this can be things such as the community tab. They could put you in a card on their video. Channel pages means that it could be my own YouTube channel page. It could be someone else. But that's something to consider. So all of this is kind of giving me where people are coming from. And if I can break this down even more, I can see what playlists are converting people, right? So if I look here, right, I know that my Portal 2 playlist is doing very well. So this is something I can then kind of see the data information on. And what I like about YouTube, especially in the new studio, is how much it gives me on a breakdown here, right? So I can see, and it's going to be a little hard to get, but trying to keep this data point up. So Portal 2 is number 1 at 952 unique views, 461. Oh no, watch time. My apologies. Used to be views. Still got to get used to that transition. So 952 minutes are in Portal 2 PC. 461 are in Let's Play Half-Life All Games. Then we see Portal 1, we see Far Cry 1, we see Far Cry 2, we see Black Mesa, and all of these are games I'm very aware of. So if you're looking at this and your content, you need to know, like, this is going to be a reflection of your playlist that you have created, right? So if, for example, let's say in 30-day reviews that the number 1 playlist is his mustache oils, then that's what his audience is responding to. And at his top tier level. And that's the kind of content you should consider. Although the problem I'm having is Valve will never create a Portal 3, and I am not happy about that. So I am stuck where I'm at, but it's okay. We deal with it. So if I go back to traffic sources, you can break this down on a video basis. So if I want to see this for videos, I just hit video, and this shows me my videos within the playlist. Keep in mind, this is all still at a playlist level, right? So never mind, it used to be. Now it's by video. Welcome to the new studio. Keyword was beta. And of course, I've also given the comparison. But hello, Gina S. Remy. Welcome. Happy to have you. As you can see here, we can kind of see this as my video source. But what I want to do is I want to go back because I want to show you my external sources, because what that can do for you matters, right? If we know that YouTube's goal is to keep people watching the platform, what do you think happens to videos that get people on other sites to YouTube and keeps them on YouTube? YouTube likes that. That's why they put a priority on traffic source external in this analytical breakdown. Think of it like this. You are a store owner. One of your employees tells a friend to check out their store, and they come in. You're happy that your employee got you a sale. YouTube is that same way. If you get someone from another store, another website, somewhere else to come on YouTube, YouTube likes that. YouTube is happy that you did that. And let's take a look at that data point. And let me know if these analogies are helping you kind of better understand. So that is something I want to keep in mind. Welcome, Daniel. Happy to have you in the chat. Guys, Daniel does some of the best Filmora tutorials. Consider checking out Daniel. So as we look here, this is one thing I would keep in consideration. Google search is the #1 search engine, and 50% of my external views are coming from Google on my gaming channel. So that is something I'm very, very happy about, because what that means is not only am I optimizing YouTube, the second largest search engine in the world, I'm also optimizing the first. So that is good, and it's a good reflection on me. Now, what we see here is Steam loopback host. Now, you can also see index friends. What, from my understanding, is this is from Steam. That's how I've always kind of gauged that. I do share my videos on Steam. Then we see WhatsApp, so there are people sharing it out. We see DuckDuckGo. So these are kind of my external traffic sources here. So that is something I would keep into consideration. Welcome, Addicted to Profit. If you are addicted to profit, check out Addicted to Profit. He keeps it simple. And I love that we can see what is bringing people in from other websites, because that is super useful. Now, I leverage Google very well with how I optimize my content using good SEO strategies and all that. That's something I want to make sure. And this is on my gaming channel, folks. Like, people tell me all the time that gaming is oversaturated, which to a point is true. It is not the job of YouTube to make your content stand out in a niche. It is your job as a content creator to find unique ways to stand out. Be it your voice in gaming, because I do commentary, be it through editing, be it whatever you have, whatever means you have to you. You know the rules of the game going in. If you know a niche is saturated, you chose to join that niche. Now, if you are in a rare case where the niche wasn't saturated when you joined and now it is, well, you got to evolve. It's kind of what I've been noticing with YouTube, and I've been on the platform for 11 years now. Seeing more 30-day reviews. I'm confused. I should be trying to send people from my site to YouTube or YouTube to my site due to many other ways to make money on my site. So again, 30-day reviews. YouTube wants you to keep people on platform. But if you, again, this is where you decide as a business what is more beneficial to you. Do you make more money through YouTube AdSense? Probably not. For your case, and what I do is on my personal channel, I refer to people to some of the stores, some of like my Amazon affiliate stuff. Again, you have a ventured interest as a business to put people on your website. YouTube has a ventured interest as a business to keep people on theirs. So what I would do for you, use your website to drive people to YouTube so that, I'm sure you've already put your videos on there, and I've been testing this with the Rivet website I created, is that when a unique website brings a viewer, YouTube likes that. Now, vice versa, when you take people off YouTube, they're not too happy about that. But again, you got to think of it from them. YouTube is a business. This is the partnership program. I'm going to keep clapping it out because apparently I'm just really rhythmic today. But the point is, think of it as a business, right? If you pick people off, if someone came into your store and took them away from it and they went to the other person's store, you'd be upset. That's how YouTube operates. It's a business. Meme review, analytical review. So that's where we're at. So traffic source, and as we're seeing here, I want to kind of go to traffic source. So when you see, and what we kind of saw with my playlist is which playlist performed the best. Portal 2, right? Portal 2 Blind is my #1 search term, followed by Far Cry 1, Far Cry 1 gameplay. Forget about Freeman as a specific chapter in a game, which is also the title of a video. So that is something to keep in mind. And I will say this, when it comes time to know how you're getting an audience, this traffic source from YouTube search, if you are looking to know how to grow a channel, and if you want to know how people are finding your content, this is where you go, right? So this is what I would keep in mind as we keep going, because when it comes time to this content, this is the kind of stuff you want to know more of, right? So let's go into traffic source by search, right? This shows me how many views these search terms got. So Portal 2 Blind got me 78 viewers. And if you ever want to sort by which one got me the most views, you can click here and it'll sort by. So if you want to see your highest average view duration, percent watched, You can kind of change it for each one. Of course, you can add a new metric to the table. YouTube is actually being surprisingly customizable in this. I haven't found a metric I want to hide, but they do let you pin metrics to keep. So like if I wanted to add a new metric, let's say I really care about it, click-through rate, right? Impressions, click-through rate. Boom, I can add that. Now, it's not applicable to this because I'm looking through search, but this is just kind of the ways they're letting us customize even more, right? So something to keep in mind. And we can just easily hide the metric. So I know that as my content grows, that a lot of my viewers, right, though the average view duration is kind of low, I know that this channel gets enough viewership to kind of keep warranting this. And my videos are longer on this channel. Beanie, I know you said earlier that you have longer content. So for you, what an average is always going to be different. For the people that watch my content and subscribe, this, I know that they stay on for a while, right? So for me, I like knowing that I'm bringing in the views here. 84 unique viewers are coming from Far Cry 1. 78 unique viewers are coming from when people search Portal 2 blind. 54 are coming from Far Cry 1 gameplay, Far Cry 1. And we can kind of see as we go on that Far Cry 1 is actually doing really well. I don't know how Black Panther, okay. But again, you kind of see. But these are where people are coming from in search. If I want, I can break this down even more. If I want to see the geography of where people are coming from, I can see that my audience is primarily from the United States, and the smallest audience I have is it's probably Nick and D. Thailand. I can't imagine any other people. But that's another cool thing is like a lot of people don't realize how global they are, right? Like look at all these different view sources and how many minutes, right? So like, for example, Finland spends a decent amount of time. And if I wanted to sort this by who watches me the longest, shout outs to Slovenia for putting up for me for 18 minutes and 39 seconds. But also keep in mind, this is also a reflection of the views, right? So like, for example, Finland is probably more impressive because Finland here has 441 views, but they stay with me for 13 minutes. So they have, they have more data that makes us lower. The more data you get, the lower it goes. Kind of gives you an idea. So if I wanted to sort by views, again, I love how much I actually can sort by just by clicking the name of it. So like if I wanted to see which one gets me the most watch minutes, it's why it's showing me this. The United States overall, just based on averages here, is giving me the most when it comes to the watch minutes. So it's prioritizing that United States as number one because for what YouTube wants, which is watch minutes, US is representing. But when it comes to like viewership and their duration, which is what I want to see, let's see where the US actually ranks. It's not that, I'm trying to find it actually. It may not be that high because that is kind of where I'm based out of. So it may actually be one of my lower, or it may not be showing. Maybe I'm just missing it. Where are you? I can just use Control F, right? I found it now. So we're here. And we're at, like I said, so what we're seeing here is that the less views it gets, usually the longer they watch, but it's because it has more data to kind of splice through. I missed it. How do I get to geography thing? I was at traffic source at the very top of the page. Let's go all the way back. I'll make sure that you can see from the beginning here. So I went traffic source, see more. From traffic source, if I want to see geography, I click geography to the right. Boom, we're in our geography. So this is something that I love seeing. Now, viewer age is something, if you ever want to know, like the breakdown of your audience, on this channel, which always surprises me, I get a decent amount of viewership in, like on my core channel, my audience is pretty much these three metrics. But on this one, because I play some younger games, well, they're platformers, but I can understand why they are. I have a viewership in the 13 to 17-year-olds, and my kind of standpoint is keep my channel G-rated. So I can kind of see I'm not appealing on my gaming channel to 55 to 64 or 65 plus. That's not too surprising for me. I can view genders. I've seen people get mad at YouTube for this. This is the options they currently provide. Don't get mad at me. Though my gaming channel audience is primarily male, kind of expected. But one thing to keep in mind, right, is like the difference in like average percent view is only 1%, right? Oh, quick, got out of that. Subscription status. Gonna have to blur that in post. This is something I like to know. out of my views, right? And this kind of goes that back into what we were talking about. Some people could say that you could count your unique viewers as your not subscribed audience. I don't think YouTube necessarily does that because I don't know about those watching. But there are a lot of creators I watch constantly, but I may not be on the primary account that I'm actually subscribed to them on. So it doesn't show that it doesn't technically count me as a subscribed viewer, though I am subscribed to that channel. So I don't use that as much as a metric as to see new people I'm reaching as much as I do unique viewers. Educate page, youtube.com/verify. Is how you verify your channel. If you're talking about the verification badge, that is a video on my channel. Check it out. Welcome, Motivation Theory. Good to have you. So as we can see, I can break down that my not subscribed viewer base is currently the blue, that my subscribed is the purple, and that unknown, which is fun, is currently high today at 588. But usually what this means is if it's a day, it takes about 48 hours for YouTube to kind of calculate everything. So what I usually take this as, if it's high like this, is YouTube still working the data points, because as you can see, there's a dip and then unknown rises. So if you ever are confused, think of it this way. YouTube hasn't processed who of this group of this date and time is subscribed and who isn't. Like, look at my breakdown, 1st through the 26th. So it's still taking the time to process this. And you also have to keep in mind the scale of YouTube. So I'm not mad with this being unknown now. If this is a month and it's unknown for a month, then we can talk. But here's something a lot of people don't see. Subscription page. So this shows you where people are subscribing. So when it comes to here, we can see that I lose subscribers from my channel page. Usually what this means is that people are coming to my channel to unsubscribe. But if we look at where they're subscribing, my videos caused 31 people to subscribe. That's really good. My YouTube channel page caused 1 person to subscribe. Someone subscribed to me because I was in someone's featured box. 1 person just subscribed to me from search. YouTube home, 1 person saw my content, decided, you know what? I'm done with you, Andrew. I'm like, okay. 2 people lost their accounts, probably bots, or they're just not active. 3 people saw me on the channel list, which is, I can kind of show you here. This is the list it's talking about. Yes, I'm subscribed to my own personal channel. Don't make fun of me. I actually do that to make sure my notification bell stuff works. You can learn my testing. But yeah, this kind of shows you where you're losing people. Now, interestingly enough, and I don't think Owen would mind because I know he's been on the record, Owen Video used to have an asterisk in his name that made him unique, and he showed up top of people's list. But because of that, people realized, man, I don't watch Owen that much, and he had rapid unsubscriptions, right? So the higher you are in that channel list and how they sort that list can kind of determine what you see in that unsubscription rate. I am an W on this channel, so I usually don't lose that many subscribers. But if I was on my personal one, which is Andrew Can, my unsubscriptions from the subscription channel list is pretty high. So Beanie says 39 left me from the channel list. Beanie, B is right after A. If we look at the playlist, you can kind of see some of these sources again. You can see views. You can add stuff. So if you want to see your reach, for example, it's going to show that I can't use these. If I want to go for, let's say I want to see how many people are getting to end screens. Man, YouTube is, here's another problem. In theory, I could add these. Can't add them yet. So also 30 days, you're a number, right? So that might put you even higher on a list. So if we look at device type, this can kind of break down your viewer, right? So I always found this interesting. On my gaming channel, I tend to get more watch time on a computer, but more views on mobile. Where on my other channel, Andrew Can, it's the opposite. So I guess this could be a reflection of the type of content. As we look here, tablet is something that I don't see enough people talking about. This is slowly becoming a rise because as tablets are going more and more common, and as we see with foldable phones, we're starting to see that what's considered a tablet and like what they're counting goes higher and higher. As I look here, we can see game console. This makes sense. Gaming channel. Some gamers watch me on a gaming console. TV can go smart TV. Could be like how. It's interesting because I've always wondered because like game consoles have the YouTube app. So for example, on my Switch, I have the YouTube app. Does that count as TV or does it count as game console? I assume they break it down with smart TVs or TV and game consoles or game consoles, but it's YouTube. Not too sure. But also, one thing I tell people. Oh God, I've lost the ability to clear. There we are. Look at which devices cause people to watch the longest, right? It's harder to leave a video on TV than it is for mobile device, right? So on average, what I find is if people are watching you on TV, they'll watch more, whereas if they're watching you on mobile, they'll watch the least. Because it's so easy to leave a channel on a mobile device compared to a TV or a computer. I'm going to drink because I've been talking. 30 Days Review says it's interesting that yours is the computer, mine is mobile. And again, it changes per channel. This is why you got to know those facts. Meme review. I don't know why I'm clapping so much. The episode of claps. But again, YouTube gives us even more data. We can break this down into more. We can see which YouTube product, right? So I can see that YouTube Kids. I don't know why I'm being served on YouTube Kids. It's probably the rated E for everyone games. That's actually surprising to me. YouTube Gaming is surprising as well. So as a gaming channel, I get access to the YouTube Gaming app. If you notice though, people who find me on YouTube Gaming tend to watch a little bit longer, but again, it's also based on the data point. They seem to watch a little bit more than YouTube proper, but YouTube Gaming specifically, this is someone that is actually looking for gaming content first and foremost. So these people are more likely to watch more than, say, someone on YouTube proper. 30-Day Review says, okay, I'm on YouTube Gaming. Again, so that could just be kind of that your YouTube subscriptions are there. Now, one thing I like, this is something I keep in mind, is like we've looked at our playback. I don't think we have, actually. So this is something for 30-Day Reviews who says that he wanted to know, this can show you how many people watched your video on a website, right? So for me, embedded in external websites and apps, this means that my video was essentially probably shared a lot more than this, but 61 people decided to watch it on a third-party website. That's something to keep in mind. Most of it comes from the YouTube watch page or my YouTube channel page, so this might mean new subscribers checking out my channel trailer. And as you can see, the view duration is pretty short because they probably paused it. But again, we're kind of getting breakdowns of those common area questions on YouTube. And is this helping you guys? I'm hoping it is. So I'm going to keep the data point here. If we go to more, one thing I like, and this is just if you're ever curious, right? I like to know what operating system, right? Because on this channel, I play PC games. But since I have some on consoles, I can see that Chromecast. This breaks down that TV one even more. Nintendo Switch. Again, that's kind of bizarre to me, right? Because I don't know about you, but it's always hard for me to imagine people. Wow, people are still using a Wii for YouTube. That is interesting. But as you can see here, PC and Windows, if I want to take it just by like views, which isn't the best way because honestly it's watch minutes. People watch me the more minutes on Windows and Android than they do on Apple. So in theory, because I do a lot of PC games, it kind of makes sense that Windows and Android is high. So yeah, and then there's Linux, which is just the underdog, of course. And then I like this because for me, if you're doing like, let's say a phone review, you can break this down on a per video basis. And if you're doing iPhone reviews and you can see that a lot of iPhone users, then that might mean that's an audience you have, right? So for example, if I started doing iOS games on this channel, it may not do that well, right? Because I have a highly Android and Windows based audience. I do have a decent amount that come from that, but it's something to keep in mind. I'm that Linux viewer, by the way. It says 30-Day Reviews, keeping the Linux dream alive. And then you can see card types, which I like because this shows you your success rates on cards over your month period. So as you can see, my playlist link cards do the best. My poll cards, not so much. my merchandise cards are not good and my channel cards just aren't good either. So what this kind of shows me is that what they'll do is they'll click the teaser. So what that is that little teaser text option we get. So they'll click on it a little bit. But then when it comes time to actually go through with it, doesn't have that good of conversion. So the playlists have the best, but even then, it's not the best comparatively, like is what it could be. And then if you want to know where people are sharing your content to, they're sharing service. So a lot of people copy it to clipboard. Some people are using WhatsApp. Others still being calculated by YouTube. So yeah. And with this, you can break this down even more, even better, right? So let's say I wanted to see how an individual video performed. I have that option, which I love. So you can click here to get to them. You can go to your videos page. But as we continue to go, I want to go into interest viewers, right? Because we can see some more of that similar breakdown. So as we go here, we'll see that this shows me my top videos again. It's going to show me those top playlists again. And it's also kind of mimicking similar data points we saw earlier. So G. Michael Jr. says, do you have a website for your gaming channel? I do not. Or your personal channel. For either, are you able to see how much traffic you're getting from it? On my personal channel, I can see how much my personal website is bringing, and it's surprisingly high to me. So as we look here, I like this because it shows me how effective are my end screens, right? And I can usually, if I click on it, it'll break it down to, oh God, transition back. It's going to show things I can't show. Oh, YouTube. I am playing a minefield right now. Whew. Well, I guess it's time to break it down on a per video level, huh? Actually, I think I can break this down. So as we transition, similar data endpoint, one thing I really love is that this gray, what people don't know what this means, is the gray graph here is what your channel's typical performance is, right? So this video is above my typical performance. This gray, typical performance. This blue is this video's current. And as you can see, it stayed with the norm, stayed with the, oh, goodbye. So as you can see, my audience retention, this is my audience retention graph, but this is since the publishing of this video specifically. As you can see though, these are my latest activity on this video. 14 views in the last 48 hours, 60 minutes, no one's watched it, but keep in mind, 14 people in the last 48 hours. You can see how they came here. Wow, my top 3 best hold wax is way above typical videos. That's good. As we go here, now this is since published. So one thing to keep in mind is that click-through rate hasn't, this is a video from 2015. God, I'm old, but at least on YouTube standards. But if I were to keep this to like February of this year, it'll actually give me data that I can use for like click-through rate. And in this video specifically, it has a 7.3% click-through rate as we're seeing. So people come from search, playlist, and this breaks it down. So this is a DAM mission, a DAM, YouTube, keep in mind. That was close, says Mary's DIY. John, it is good to see you in the chat. Everyone, friend McGann in the chat. It's been a while. Hope you are well. Now, one thing I like looking when I look through my data points is I like to see what videos I'm getting from suggested. Now, what this is good and what this is since this is a series, right? This is number 19. Number 18 is doing its job. So 95% of my suggested, meaning that when people see number 19 and that suggested, they click it, and YouTube keeps track of that. So from 18 to 19, that conversion is fantastic. So as I continue to go deeper and deeper in, and as we go deeper in, if I go to interest viewers, and hopefully it doesn't show me. All right. Oh, God. I'm breathing hard here because I don't want to get a strike because it's something that was happening in the back end here. But this kind of shows you your viewers in minutes, right? Your watch minutes. So you can kind of see the graph in a different way for watch minutes. Like usually what this means is per viewers it gets, your watch minutes goes up. Average view duration, as you can see, it's peaks and valleys. Sometimes it's all the way up to the 10-minute. Sometimes it's more averaging here. YouTube is new horror and thriller niche. Yeah, no joke. But one thing I like is build an audience. And this shows me, and this is useful, is this going to show me how many subscribers this video has garnered for me from, February. I can use 2019 so I can see in total. So this video specifically has gotten me 1 view, 1 new subscriber. If I want to do since uploaded its lifetime, this video specifically has gotten me 8 subscribers. And this is really useful if you're ever wondering like what content gets you specific, like is getting you subscribers. Good night, Janelle's MP. Good to have you as a part of this. So I like this when I want to know like, man, what videos are actually driving subscribers? So this for me, again, since this is a part of a series, this video getting me 8 subscribers to its lifetime is fine. If I actually wanted to know, top countries, Kenya represent, but if I wanted to know like how successful this series is, what I could do is take a look at how many subscribers through the lifetime of the series has gotten me to see the effectiveness of it. So yeah. Kenya, we see you. Again, you never know. Educate Page says, I'm from Cambodia, just 10 a.m. I love your channel. Thank you. Thank you for watching with me. Hopefully I can pull this up. So I'm going to go back to probably one of my more popular videos here. And I know it's one of my more popular videos, so I want to make sure that I hide some information. Because YouTube, not because I want to. It's only my estimated earnings and revenue. So as we transition back, as you can see the lifetime of this is the intro video to this series, and it's gotten me 92 subscribers of its lifetime. That's pretty good for me. It's an older game, so to gain subscribers from it at this, and then kind of taking the look at the subscription of the channel is good. I'll transition, I see it. Is there a way to see what cards in the video people clicked on the most? Absolutely, 30-day reviews, and I'll show you that in a second. But again, it goes back to that card information we saw earlier. So as we can see here, I've gained 92,000 subscribers. We'll transition back because I don't want to get in trouble. As we continue to transition again. So what we can see is we can see again that 48 hours, we can see 60 minutes. There are 2 people watching as I'm streaming. Think of that. That's always something I'm weirded out by, or not weirded out, but it's just so kind of cool. It's hard to explain, but people are watching me as I'm discussing with you. I don't think a lot of YouTubers ever like grasp what that means. As we go to reach viewers, this is again similar. What I'll do is I'll go to 2018 data here so we can kind of see. As you can see, compared to the prior year, 30% up. So this video has done even better than the year before. We can kind of see that the playlist page, if we look at the click-through rate, highly, highly above that average. You're here streaming. People are watching your content. That's kind of cool, to be fair. So, and he goes, but why are they not in chat? Because they're on my gaming channel, Beanie. Keep that in mind. This is my gaming channel I'm looking at. So 13.7% click-through rate. If you know click-through rates, which we discussed a little earlier, that is above average. This is an above average performing video for my channel. Oh God, why? Oh, this scares me. So I didn't know. Anytime I see this, I'm worried. So Reddit was a big, apparently, contributor to my channel here. Oh boy. Oh man. Be kind to Reddit and they'll be kind to you. So as you can see, what's suggested videos here for the year. This own video, it suggests itself, which is kind of weird, but usually what that means is that people might accidentally be hitting replay. Number 2, so sometimes people start on number 2, they see number 1 on the side, they click number 1. So you can kind of see where my views are coming from. Traffic source. If we hit interest viewers, this is kind of what I like to see. We see that my watch minutes was up last year. If I want to go on that build an audience, 64 subscribers came from this piece of content by itself. Now, one thing to keep in mind for my gaming channel, Paul, if Reddit decides they don't like you, they can obliterate you. So Reddit isn't that bad. As someone who's watched the other side, it's not always the best if you're not on its good side, but I hope to be on its good side. However, I'm terrified of the threads that may have came from this video. It's one thing to like Reddit when you're a user, it's another when you're the content they're debating. So, I love using Reddit. I don't know if I want my video to be the point of discussion. So as we can see here, we can see that from my not subscribed, this video has gotten a lot of viewership from people who aren't subscribed to me. I can see, that English subtitles are usually what people use. I can kind of see the view age range, but honestly, this makes sense. This is an older game, so to have these kind of demographics is kind of what I'm expecting. And as I want to dive deeper, if I click the see more, right? If I want to go from watch time from subscribers, I can go from here and see it. So you asked about cards and how effective they are, 30-day reviews. So I can see here that this is the card I put up, which is Let's Play Far Cry 1. So 351 people clicked on the teaser, and about 10 actually clicked on the card itself. And so what it's saying is that my conversion rate to get people to actually click on the card to do the action I'm asking is about 5%. When it is to get my... Really? I'm surprised. My merchandise has better teaser click-through rates, but no one actually goes to the website. Oh. But if I look here, part 2 actually makes sense, right? So 27 people click the teaser and has about 12 clicks to make it through. Again, 30-day reviews. Pay attention. So we go from build an audience, see more. From see more, we go to more. We go to card. We see all this information. You're fast, man. I'm doing my best to slow it down, but I know this... Well, I'd like to say I know it is best to the back of my hand, but if I were to compare my hand to YouTube, I'd have a lot of warts because YouTube changes everything. But it's, again, I don't mind showing this again because I'm sure other people are feeling the same way you do. And some people are like, well, stop drinking water. I'm not Nick Nim and I haven't developed those skills. But yeah, so you can kind of see like the successfulness of your conversion of cards here. And again, if you want to see like end screens, you can do end screen element type, right? So I don't think this, actually, no, I don't think this video would have end screens because this is when annotations were a thing. So Andrew of the future, you got to fix that. And again, you used to see annotation data, but YouTube removed it. YouTube giveth, YouTube taketh away. So is there any data point that I have shown or haven't shown, besides the stuff I can't, that you have questions about? This is kind of why, we've gone through most of them. Are there anything you're confused about, want to know what the data means, so I can kind of use my channel as an example and give you? So yeah, let me know. You buddy water, helping me not die. So as I wait for people to kind of say that, I do like the analytics on YouTube, and I really like the back-end information they give. I know some people kind of aren't the happiest with it, but is that the pandas? Yes, this is gonna be, you're getting a little bit of a sneak preview of Project Panda Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. But Mamata says, I have to say goodbye now. It's getting late here in Toronto. Thanks for the help. Yet again, another helpful video. That is what I aim to do. You were asking about the compare feature. The compare feature honestly could use its own separate video. To get into that would be a little bit probably too advanced for one video. Like, that deserves its own breakdown. But if you'd like to see that, consider subscribing to this channel and recommending it in the live streams I do in the future. So yeah, it's one of those, I'd like to do it, but also it's fairly new as well. Like, this is something Tom released, which if you're not subscribed to Creator Insider, please do. But it's something to keep in mind. Where do I look and analyze? Very good question. When you have drops in watch time, your videos, where do I look and analyze? Perfect question. So let us get there. And I don't know why I'm shaking my head like I'm listening to music. I'm not. Well, that's just me. So we are on the interest viewer tab, and you're going to have to do this on a per video basis here. I'm here. So you go from your analytics page, you click the video you want to look at, go to interest viewers, audience retention, see more. And this is when you can review it in a way that you can see. So, steep drop off 13 seconds in, but to be fair, what's probably happening, because one thing I tell people especially is watch what's happening in the video as well, right? So if we look at where I pick up again, I pick up here where I think the actual gameplay starts, right? So understanding what this means is that people who watch this are wanting to see immediately where the gameplay starts in this drop off. So some of these, okay, for 30-day reviews, don't worry, I got you. I'll go all the way back to the beginning, but I got to transition back. You got to remember, the reason I'm being a little fast is actually because of them putting stuff I can't show. But okay, from your analytics overview page here. So analytics overview. I'm going to click on my top video that I want to view, but I'm going to have to transition back because of YouTube. Don't be worried, 30-day reviews. I'm just giving you a hard time. As I load data, that could get me in trouble. Now, that's where I don't, again, YouTube analytics are designed greatly for the one person, but man, to share and to help is hard. So I will transition back to that video page. It's a minefield of demonetization in terms of service out there. Kind of, Beanie. Like, I've never been as afraid as I am right now. And the weird thing is, I don't know which channel would technically get the strike. I feel like YouTube would be like, both channels, same guy, both channels. So here we are. To get there, we click See More under Audience Retention. So See More. Boom. Here we are. We are here. Welcome. So, as we can see, it's important that you kind of understand your content. And again, one thing I have to keep reiterating, and because a lot of people can get discouraged by this, is that the more viewers you have, the higher chance that this percentage is lower, because it's using all of that data together, right? So for example, when I first created a video, sometimes my view duration's at 75. About a year later, we're sitting at 50. So it's just as more viewers come into this, you gotta understand that it kind of hurts what you're trying to do. Beanie Draw says at least it would be a 1-week ban instead of 30. It should just be a warning. I'm looking at you, YouTube. Keep up what you're saying. So, yeah. As we go here, as I was saying earlier, it's understanding your content, right? So, the huge drop for me is people are wanting to see the gameplay immediately, and I'm actually seeing that reflected. So this, actually, the gameplay kind of starts about at the first here. So this is when the gameplay starts. And then people get interest again when I get into another cutscene. So if I kind of click through, this is a game cutscene right here. And I know my content, right? I know the content very well. This is a cutscene, so we kind of lose interest. But as the game itself, the gameplay picks up, so does my viewership. And it's understanding that's important. So 30-day reviews, I hopefully answered what explains when the bump goes back up. This is when I'm about to launch into a cutscene that people know. Yeah, that's a great question, Doug. Was Beanie assuming Andrew already has a warning? Wow, Beanie. I play by the rules until YouTube makes it difficult, i.e. this stream. But overall, yeah, so this first dip is just kind of what this shows me is that I need to just get into the gameplay. People don't really want the intro on this screen. They just want to see gameplay kind of right away, which makes sense, right? And this is just kind of me explaining the difficulty setting because some people care about that. I know I do, so I kind of create the videos in the way I like to watch them. But of course, 30-day reviews, yes, usually that's I can look at my data here, right? Start it, I'm on an intro screen here, there's not so much going on. And hardcore fans of this game, as you can see, usually I get a lot of people who played these games and they just want to see someone who's never played it, what their thoughts are. Think of it like watching a review. Hey, you're a review channel, right? Why do we watch reviews? We want to see what people think of something when we're buying a product. In this case, as a blind Let's Play, people want to see someone who's never played it before, their thoughts, right? So if I know this game, I don't want to sit through a movie I've seen probably 100 times if I played it a lot. I want to see right into their opinion. So that's kind of what my audience is showing me here. I am commentating G. Michael Jr. But I'm not commentating through the cutscenes because, some people have never played these games too. But the second we get into the gameplay, which is right here, and as we scroll through, you can see a little bit more of gameplay footage. My audience kind of tapers out. Then we get into another cutscene where we actually get a bit of a peek. They watch the cutscene, we drop again, we go back into playing, and we kind of keep here, but then maybe they don't like how I'm playing the game, maybe they think I'm too much of a noob, and this is kind of where we can no longer, but as you can see, the kind of continuations are pretty similar. 30-day review says, okay, that's what's been confusing me for a long time. I knew the drops were there and people would stop watching, but never got the upticks. And again, the upticks could just also be that's when more people just, like, usually what the upticks like this, in this case, because you can kind of see it in my data with what the video is. It's always on a per video basis, right? But for me, this is kind of when people gain interest again because it's me actually playing. Whereas they have interest here and it drops because I'm spending too long in the menus. What this shows me is that if I want to keep this drop pretty high, I should maybe just start it on the video like cutscene here and then go right into gameplay, right? Because that probably could have kept that staying a little higher while we're up here. They could also be bored and they're trying to skip through the video to see the most relevant info is revealed, says Beanie. I often skip through reviews. And 30-day review says, yeah, that drop is every channel, every video ever. I once saw a video, and I can't disclose the channel because NDAs are fun, but man, they had a 100%, and then it was a sharp 20. They had like 100% for a minute. I was like, that's great. 20 seconds. They completely changed what the video was, and it just tanked. I'm like, man, that had to suck. Because you can go above 100%. It's rare, but you can. Simply Beth says, I thought I meant they rewind and go back. Simply Beth, there's so many factors that can play into it. That could be one of them. Usually it's per video basis. For me, I know because gaming videos have similar graphs, right? So I know on certainty that anytime I do an episode 1, if I keep it short now in the beginning, like the menu section, and I explain as I'm playing the game, the settings, boom, higher watch percentage, right? So actually here, let me go on a little bit of a newer video I've done to kind of show you similar data. So I'll go back to my analytics, and I'm keeping it on me for case of I don't want to show my revenue. This is just simpler to keep it on me while I show you this data because, man, I don't want to deal with YouTube with it. So hopefully you guys understand, right? So one thing I want to make sure is that if I choose a video, right, I don't want it to be that much newer that doesn't have a lot of data. I want it to be slightly newer, but not too much. And know that there are some videos I've done this with that I can show this data point. Because if I do it an older video, it may not show as much data as what I'm trying to show you now. So I know the video I'm looking for. I'm just getting to it. How do you look at videos that are not in the top vids? There is a search function on YouTube Studio. You can type here, find the video by name. So that's kind of it. I don't want to clear it. I'm looking for my Far Cry 2 Part 1. That's what I was doing, so I just typed in Far Cry 2. Here we go. Going to transition back so I don't show any data I don't want to be shown. I'm going to be going back to that retention page just to kind of give you an idea. So let us go. And actually, you can kind of see it. This is a really good kind of update on this, right? So like this is a great example of a video where I kind of got right into gameplay. Like immediately, I kind of just go right into it. And as you can see, They don't like the loading screens. So anytime people ask me, why do you cut out your loading screens? It's like my drops, man. And anytime there's kind of like story set up, as you can see here, this is like them setting up the story. But right when we get into that gameplay, similarly, whenever there's gameplay again, we hit strides. And if we hit a loading screen, we drop a bit. So it's understanding all of this. So like here, when I go more into choosing the gameplay mechanics, gameplay decisions, we kind of keep people longer, right? Like people are willing to wait and watch 2 minutes as long as I'm choosing options. Whereas the other one, where it took me a while when I was explaining myself and I wasn't doing stuff with it, I saw a harsher drop, right? So here, it's really kind of important to keep that in mind. Simply Beth, that's easy. What Simply Beth says, I feel like we should try to stump Andrew. What does he not know how to get to? I don't know how many licks it is to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop. The world may never... Not sponsored. Gotta just put that out there. Let's just have a little bit of fun, please. Let's just have actually a lot of fun tonight. 17 people watching. Wanted to thank everyone. Janelle's MP, well, tomorrow I have school. I will check out the video tomorrow. Thank you for joining us, Janelle. Again, I'm trying to keep this video a little shorter, maybe 90 minutes, so where we get a lot of good data and information so you guys can read and kind of understand, but not too much where you're like, oh God, it's too long. So here's kind of the QA part. So I showed you how you can kind of use that graph, how you can read it. Beanie Draw says, you're strange sometimes, Andrew. That's why I like you. Ooh, 30-day review says 364 licks, actually, on average. Is that your lick? My lick? How many licks are we talking? Is it a Beanie lick? What if Beanie doesn't lick like we do? Wait, well, of course, Australians are down under, so they hold the Tootsie Roll Pop upside down, right, Beanie? That's actually probably not true. I also love how there's some science to that. But yes, ask me your analytics questions. Ask me anything. Demonetized. I don't think saying the word lick would, but honestly, YouTube's a little... I bet lick is a bad word now. I don't know. I mean, I think it's always context, but obviously, I don't hate the YouTube system for not understanding context, right? Like, it's a pretty simple robot if you really think about it. Like, the AI isn't as complex as people want to give it credit to. How can, like, I love when people are like, the YouTube algorithm's not that smart. But the YouTube algorithm also is, it's like Schrodinger's algorithm, where it is both too smart and not smart enough. Beanie Draws with TubeBuddy, we can tell you which words could get you demonetized. Download TubeBuddy today. In fact, if you're not already using TubeBuddy, I highly recommend it. TubeBuddy is the place I work, though, keep in mind. Download TubeBuddy today, tubebuddy.com/can. Feel like I need a little ding effect there. Transition back, and so I can also like stand up again. I got to assume there's no context being taken into account. Again, Beanie, the context comes when you ask for the review. So I feel like that's where we're getting more of our context. If you are watching this live stream live in the replay, live now or in the replay, let me know. Did you find this helpful in your analytical understanding here on YouTube? Like, what I want to do is kind of break down that barrier where people just don't seem to understand it. And if there's anything you still don't understand, please don't hesitate to ask. I know I was giving 30-day reviews a little bit of a hard time. However, I feel like 30-day reviews and I've been on his channel. He knows who I am. Like, we have a repertoire, if you will. Nice plug. Maybe that's why I mentioned it. Thanks, Beanie. 30-day review says very helpful, and I like the new dashboard a little bit more. You hear that, YouTube? Hire me. But yeah, I actually, the things I don't like, and trust me, there's a lot in YouTube Studio I don't like. I make sure I report. One thing I do not like is, and I'll show you actually, here. I don't mind giving a fair criticism if anyone on YouTube watches. I know I recently went to the YouTube space with a lot of fun. Some of them were like, oh, we checked out your channels. I'm like, oh, God, why? It's kind of weird. I don't know. It's one thing to, like, do YouTube, but it's another to have people, like, talk to you about your channel to you. That's kind of one of those moments where I'm like, they don't teach you that in school, I'll tell you that. But if we are to look, one of the places I think could be much improved is probably in their editing. Now, they actually have taken into consideration a lot of what I've been suggesting and what other people are suggesting. I'm not going to say it was me who got this to move. I'm just saying a lot of people have suggested this. I am one of those people who have. So if we go to the YouTube editor, if you're unaware, TubeBuddy is in, and we're constantly adding more. But if you didn't know, here's kind of the basic stuff here. Here is how you, like, I do not like how they handle cards currently. If I click cards, it opens up a new window that's kind of in the old format. Now, it is nice that I hit here and it goes to return to YouTube Studio, right? But man, I wish they had a better option than that. And yeah, it's cool that they have that kind of fake in between. So, that's a great question, Leviathan Vaughn. I just shared your videos in a few places. Can you see where I shared them? I need to know which video, and I'd also need to know which places. And keep in mind that 48-hour kind of buffer I told you about recently, right? I just said that in the stream. It takes YouTube 48 hours to kind of calculate that data. So could I show you in this stream? No. Could I possibly see view increases on them in the 60-minute watch frame? Maybe. So I can't show that based on that delay, but we might see an increase in the unknown. I don't like how the old end cards does not play anymore like it used to. Yeah, that is something to keep in mind too. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Leviathan. You may see a bunch of my tabs open. There's nothing that is too terrible. I was looking up tax information. Always the most fun is tax information. Well, thank you, Leviathan Vaughn. I do appreciate it. Maybe in the next live stream, if you're there and you can remind me, we can see if that had actually any play. And if you have shared out this stream, thank you. I do appreciate all of you who are watching and sharing. It does mean a lot. We are at 15 watchers. Again, this is all possible by everyone watching now. I do appreciate everything that you're doing. So, woo! Insert PewDiePie. Wow, Bean, are you a pretty big PewDiePie fan? Because I'm picking up some vibes here. I've been watching PewDiePie's content a lot more recently. Have no shame in that. Help PewDiePie win. Subscribe. Not to T-Series. Though it's interesting anytime I see people talk about it. Obviously, if you have context of YouTube for a while, you'll understand. Would you want to see... Actually, there is something I can show you. I just gotta make sure it does not harm. We are doing stuff behind the scenes at TubeBuddy, and I need to make sure that some of the behind the scenes secrets, dun dun dun, they're gonna be revealed soon. But still, context. I want to make sure that none of that is going to be kind of let out of the bag too early. Okay. I think I can just hide this. This is a pretty good example of what I'm talking about. So, you guys are watching me, watching you, watching me. Now I'm just actually getting rid of data that YouTube doesn't want me to share. Not that I have a problem sharing with it. Okay, so as we transition back. 30-day reviews. Can I hire you to look at my data and then give me cliff notes? 30-day reviews. If I had $1 every time I was offered that at a YouTube event, I could probably have at least $3. So this is actually a really unique case, and I've been studying this, right? So I've been talking about the Tab Collab, and if you're not sure what the Tab Collab is when someone shares you out on a community page, and that's actually super powerful because it gives you a decent amount of leverage within YouTube itself. So if we look here, this is my channel's average performance, which is pretty on par. I usually average around between the 167 view range and around 3 on a really good upload, probably here. But since I was shared out, notice how this graph goes really high. I can delete graphs here so you guys can see more. But as you can see, this has gone higher and above my typical performance. And we can see that reflected in other locations. Now let me transition back. Because, man, I don't want to get in trouble. So this is another cool thing, transitioning back to this, is that this video, the audience retention is really good. Now, when it was new, like when it was first shared, it was actually at 80%. But as more and more people watch it, it goes lower and lower, and it just kind of shows. But as you see, we're at 103. This kind of shows when it was at the higher percentage, and it can go all the way up to 120, as I was kind of talking about earlier. So this is kind of what I mentioned, where this, if you want to see like a quick understanding of how your video performed, this is a really good place. Now, these are the views it's getting now. Right now, it's getting views from YouTube search. So when people are searching for this, it shows up. When I look at channel pages, if people click on my channel, this video is my channel trailer currently, so that explains that. Other YouTube features, this is where it was shared by Tab Collab. Browse features is homepage, and external means like my socials usually. We go to reach viewers. This is something I want to show, right? So this actually doesn't have that high of a click-through rate, but some people get very afraid of their click-through rate when it isn't that good to start. As you can see, click-through rate for this one especially is low, but that doesn't really answer that much, right? Like, this has of unique people to my channel. Basically, almost 300 people are unique to this content. 405 views, so about 105 from my subscribers. 299 are unique. And what I'm seeing here is that the click-through rate isn't bad. And if you look down here, when it's being shared, people are actually clicking on it, right? So it also kind of depends, where am I being suggested against, right? So I'm getting suggested against temporary depression, which is interesting. What I want to be suggested with is similar stuff to the content I'm doing, which is arriving at Disney on Disney's Magical Express. This is about the Disney Magical Express line. If you look at where people are finding me through search, this is kind of what I want to see. People are finding me by looking up Disney World. People are looking for Disney World Travel Day. And all of this is actually really cool because I was not ranking or getting any views for that until I was shared out through the Tab Collab system on the community tab. And all of a sudden, all of these things where I wasn't ranking for, but they were catch-alls, boom, started ranking. But that's only because this video keeps people on YouTube and keeps people watching. And because I have other Disney content on my channel, this video acts as a great piece of gateway content that gets people watching and then gets them to stay on my channel. So that's something I want you guys to keep in mind, right? So if we look up here, if I go to interest viewers, we can kind of see the watch time in minutes. And as I transition, it's way above my average watch time within this same time frame, which is, again, like, this is 3 days old. And look at my average versus where this is, right? So this is all stuff you got to kind of consider. So all in all, this video performed really, really, really well. And I'm pretty happy with its performance. But you know what else I'm happy with the performance? This live stream audience. Everyone, you have been a fantastic audience. Thank you so much for asking amazing in-depth questions. For everyone that was in the stream: Beanies, 30 Days, Leviathan, Mary's DIY, Fit Mama Tata, Simply Beth, Doug Hewson, Mary's DIY, I think I mentioned you already, but you're getting another one. Photo Finn. We have had a lot of people. Guys, watch Dan if he's still alive. Great channel. Daniel Patel was here earlier. Watch him if you want some great Filmora advice. I'm Andrew Can, and if I can, you guys can too. Thank you all so much for